And we're back with part 4 of Let's Make a Mandalorian. So we're going to start this off with the jetpack stuff. The first thing that we really need to do is we need to wash it with warm water and soap. It's what the seller recommended. And then after that we need to also scrub it and wash it with alcohol. So that'll be the first step, and then we'll get into the sanding. So let's get started with part 4. As I said before, what I'll be doing right now is I'm actually giving the jetpack a bath, essentially. So I'm using warm water and dish soap, which is what the seller recommended. I'm just giving it a good scrub as much as I can. And then after that, I'll scrub all the individual pieces that you don't see pictured here. And then I'll go with some isopropyl alcohol, which was honestly my least favorite part of the whole washing process. And then once the jetpack is clean, we'll move into the full sanding of everything. So the sanding grit I'm going with is P800 just to make sure it's as smooth as possible. After this, I'll be using filler primer for all the pieces. And now that everything is sanded, I'm adding chrome paint just as a base coat in case I want to paint over it. At this point, I wasn't really deciding on what colors I wanted yet. But I knew for these top pieces, I definitely wanted yellow. And just like with the other pieces, I'm giving the full jetpack body now, base sanding, again using P800. And then after that, I'll be adding filler primer. Now for the actual jetpack body, I knew that I always wanted to go with like a chrome or like a silver color just because it would work well with my color scheme and everything else. What I'm doing here is I'm beginning the taping off process, so this is so that I can add different colors to the jetpack without impacting on the silver base coat that we have set. And in line with the rest of the Mandalorian armor colors that I have, I'm also going to be going with blue and yellow all across this Mandalorian jetpack. The reason I'm going with a plastic bag is that it's one way to cover parts of the jetpack that I don't want painted. But it also, when I'm taking it off, it won't take off some of the paint. Like when you use painter's tape, sometimes it'll take off some of the paint, and sometimes you don't want that. And like how blue is heavily featured on the armor, I also wanted it to be kind of like a base for the jetpack as well. Right here, what I'm tipping off for is the yellow that will be added. So I wanted to do kind of an equal amount of yellow and blue as much as possible. The reason that I love using yellow and blue and silver together is that they all contrast well and they all look great together. And in this next clip, that's when I finally got to start adding pieces to the jetpack. And that was a huge moment for me because that's when it finally started feeling real. As far as painting and gluing goes, you kind of want to give some time for everything to cure so that it sits right, so that it works. And once you finally start adding all the stuff to the jetpack after waiting days and days for stuff to cure, it finally starts to feel more real, and it's a great feeling. So these cone pieces are not actually attached to the pieces that come below them, so what you actually need to do is you need to cut a little hole just so that it can fit on top of it. once I finally added the bottom, like kind of like fuel pieces, I don't know what the word is for them, that's when it finally started to feel like I had like a jetpack. Because once you had those in, it's the whole thing's basically done. And then after that, I just wanted to give everything a clear coat. And one thing I'm doing here is probably one of the most fun parts of this entire build is I like having hidden references in my armor. And so these ones are in Mandalorian language, so I'm going to talk about those a little bit later. And some people may see the jetpack and look at it as a little bit more damaged than how we started, and that's actually the point. In Star Wars and in normal life, everything is used, nothing is super perfect, so that's actually what I wanted to convey with the jetpack, is that it had been worn. And what we're looking at here is actually a harness for the jetpack. So kind of a little bit of movie magic for you is that for the jetpacks they did need to wear harnesses. So this will go under the flak vest, and then it will go through that, and then the jetpack will clip into the back of it, and then all of the jetpack will be held on this harness. Now these hooks I got from Amazon, these are to hang on to the jetpack. This will hang on to the back of the harness. So what I was doing now is I took these to Home Depot, and then I just checked to see which thickness would fit it the best. So this was the very first time that I tried on the harness, and I was just trying to get a feel for it, and we were also trying to see how it would work with the back plate on. And here one of my friends was helping me bend the hooks so that they wouldn't get knocked off of the jetpack super easily, but that we could still also drill it in. And in this next clip I'll be securing the hooks to the back of the jetpack, and then after that I'll be trying it on for the very first time. And that concludes part 4 of Let's Make a Mandalorian, guys. So the jetpack portion is 100% complete. Getting to put it on after so many months of waiting and so much work just really felt amazing. In part 5 we will get into the finishing touches. As you can see from the costume, we're right there at the finish line. So in this last video we'll get into all of those specifics, and then from there we should be finished. So thanks so much, guys, for tuning in with me, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.